Welcome, guys. Welcome to the talk. Thank you for coming on. I was inspired by your message on the Clubhouse or your post on the Clubhouse on Instagram, and it was a talk about mental health. And I didn't attend myself, but I was just interested. And unfortunately, Clubhouse doesn't have recording, so I just wanted to kind of talk about what you guys discussed there. So any one of you guys can get started and maybe tell me who inspired or who initiated the conversation.
Yeah, Benny, that's all you.
Nah, definitely is.
So I think prior to the week that we had that talk, we just got on Clubhouse and we were talking. We talked about a lot. There was just different things all over the place, and so we picked mental health because we feel like it's a very big and important topic to talk about, especially if you're a college student athlete. So yeah, that's literally how we came to pick it.
What do you tell me about Clubhouse? So I just know that it's a new social media app. I haven't seen what it looks like myself, just because it's invite only. But tell me why it's big or why it's like going to be.
So Clubhouse is like if Twitter and like FaceTime or FaceTime audio had a baby. Basically, it's almost like Twitter in real life. Like you can hear people talk. So I feel like personally, it's going to be huge because it's very exclusive right now. Like not everyone can get in. You need an invite to get in. It's only accessible for iPhones. So people on Android or any other devices can't get in. And again, people who are very high powered, like Elon Musk and Bill Gates, they come on there and they do like these talk shows and they literally flood down the app. So it's going to be huge. If they're the people that take time out of their day to come on Clubhouse to talk to people, then it's going to be huge. So basically how it works is you get an invite from a person, or you can apply to get in, but it's going to take a really long time. Once you do get an invite, you can get in. You'll basically be introduced to various amount of communities. Some are from like mental health. Some of them are like social life. Some of them are just about different cultures and all that. So you pick, about 5 to 6, I think, different categories of what you're interested in. And it kind of gives you a list of rooms that you could join or people that are associated with each topic. And yeah, you just join. It's all voice note. So you go in there, you could talk, you can hear people talk in real life. And yeah, it's going to be huge.
Okay. When you guys did have the conversation, like how long did it go for, and kind of like what were you guys like focused on? Was it like the United States overall, or like just what you've seen in your schools?
We're mostly focused on what we know is our colleges and our experiences with the United States and the sports system and the transition from high school to college and all that. But I feel like someone else shouldn't really answer this.
I mean, yeah, like Benny was saying, we basically just discussed just everyone's experience with mental health. You know what I mean? We were some of the athletes in the call, but other people were just regular kids who were going to college, and we just spoke about how like mental health, how just it affected everyone separately and differently. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Maybe let's start with a little bit about your high school experience. So I know I was your assistant coach for your senior year. So I don't understand what happened maybe your freshman, sophomore, junior year. What were the resources available there? Like how were counselors, like how comfortable were you able to discuss with them? How available were they? And maybe Austin, you can take this one.
All right. So in my point of view, like my story is I've never gone through anything throughout high school, like any mental health problems. But as you did touch on with teachers, I did have, I could say at least 3-4 teachers I knew I could go to in case anything ever did happen, and our guidance counselor, so including her. I do know of people that did go through something regarding their mental health, and they were kind of a close friend of mine, so I do know the whole story. So they did indeed reach out to our guidance counselor. Her name was Miss Ortiz. And she definitely was supportive. Every morning I saw her, she was always like, "Hey, good morning. How are you doing?" You know, she's real supportive. She was aware. She was really aware on the fact that mental health is a problem and it should be addressed more. You know, like on a daily thing, not just when something does happen.
Question about guidance counselors. How many, like, there's this whole conversation about there being more security guards than guidance counselors and the overemphasis and securitization of schools over policing in schools. Did you feel like that was the case? That's innovation slash Snyder.
I mean, yeah, definitely. That was definitely the case. There were way more security guards than counselors. I think we had like one. I mean, not sure, like maybe like one, two. But yeah, I mean that was pretty much the case. But I think although we only had one, she did make time. You know what I mean? If it ever got to the point where there was like a huge abundance of kids who wanted to speak to her, she did make time for each one of the kids to just sit down with them and just discuss whatever needs to be needed to be discussed.
How many students overall like were there at
For a
innovation?
small class, like 50.
70, 60?
6 to be exact for our class, but it was like 300 and something kids overall.
Yeah.
So there's 300 kids overall, and there's one guidance counselor, or
Yep.
okay. So
One or two.
Yeah, it was one.
So there's only one during your whole 4 years, and it seems like she was helpful. Now, going back to college or going forward to college after high school, how did you feel? We felt like it was how was that transition? Was it hard? Was it hard on you like psychologically, emotionally? And yes, I see you nodding your head. Maybe you can start.
Yeah. No, for me personally, I think that it wasn't too hard for me, honestly. You know what I mean? For me, I think I had some bad habits throughout high school. I was still sort of kind of independent. Like my mother trusted me. She knew I wasn't like stupid. I wasn't gonna do anything like something outlandish or anything like that. So I was usually just doing things on my own. You know what I mean? She obviously was providing for me, but other than that, making decisions, going to practice, having these responsibilities, going to practice on time, waking up early, and kind of just carried over to college. You know what I mean? It's basically the same thing again. But this time, I guess my mother wasn't really providing for me as much because she wasn't there. I couldn't ask her for money. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I could, but like she wasn't giving me money every day or something like that. So yeah. But other than that, I'd say it was a pretty smooth transition for me personally. Yeah.
You want to popcorn into someone else?
Yeah. We go to Austin.
With me, before I even got to college, I knew that I go to college in Pennsylvania and I live in Jersey City. So it's like a 2-hour drive away. It's pretty far. I knew that I didn't want to be anywhere in Jersey because I just wanted to get out of there, just see something new, just experience it. And when I did get here, it was more than I expected it to be. My defense, I didn't have any idea what college is like. Of course, I'm a freshman. I'm here for the first time, but it was more so I'm free to do whatever I want. And it wasn't like a really good feeling because I've always been free to do what I want. As Cheick said, I also didn't have like any type of restrictions or limitations when I was in high school with my parent. When I got here, though, only difference I can say that really like kind of stuck with me and still kind of lingers is that you truly are on your own. Like compared to like high school, you're on your own, but you have support if you need it. Here, you're on your own, and that's it. You're just on your own. So what I'm getting at is that it got me to like be more independent. So I call it like being truly independent. So there's that, and also I want to try it out because I've heard of the stereotype. People don't go to like a therapist until they actually need it. So I wanted to just get ahead of the game. Nothing was really going on with me at the time, but I just wanted to go to therapist, see what it was about. So I went, and when I went there, it was really a surprise. It was a pretty good setup. They had this room that was like, it was called the Quiet Room. I loved it in there because I used to take naps. It was so beautiful. But they had like a massage chair. They had a fountain in the back with waterfall. It was really relaxing, and I just went in there all the time to take a nap, like an hour nap before class. During class sometimes, I'll admit. But yeah, so it was really just a transition for me.
And you also went to an HBCU. I think you're the only one in the group, right?
Yep. The first HBCU. Say that. The first. 1854. Okay.
Out flex, but okay.
Say again?
Was actually the first?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. I guess for me, I'm just going to piggyback because Austin really said what I was going to say. So my experience was like, okay, I came from this high school. I was meeting the same people every day. I was doing the same thing every day. So now it's like, oh my God, like this is the real world. Like I choose where I live. I choose when I want to go eat. I choose. The only thing I didn't kind of dictate was practice. That was about it. But when it came down to classes and study hours and all that, that was just all up on me. So it was kind of like overwhelming. And yeah, it just led to a whole bunch of different emotions. Sometimes I would feel like, I want to go home because it was like, I miss home. I'm used to doing the same things every day. And now it's like, I have so much and so like too much freedom, basically. I was just very confused at first. But again, as you spend time in that situation, you kind of get accustomed to it. You kind of get an idea of the type of person that you are. So it really made me realize who I kind of am. So it was a good transition.
Did you have any like friends that you like could turn to, or any guidance? Anyone that you felt like helped you?
Yeah. So coming from here, I actually made a friend. His name is Kieran Burns. He's from Kingsway, New Jersey. So me and him were kind of the only Jersey guys on the team. And yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about home, talking about food, talking about if Central Jersey exists or not. But yeah, it was really good. Him, I would say, is the first person that I kind of like talked to a lot because we were roommates. Like we spent a lot of time together. And for him being from Jersey really helped. There were guidance counselors, I want to say.
I think they're like academic advisors.
Yeah, so there's those counselors, whatever, and their academic advisors. And the academic advisors were good. Yeah, you could definitely go up, talk to them anytime. Yeah, there was a lot of them, but I think for our sport there was two. But then again, like just because a guidance counselor is for like football or another sport doesn't mean you can't go and talk to them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about a little bit of my experience. Maybe you guys will get new ideas. You guys could maybe piggyback or ask off a question, like ask me a question if you want to. So I'm gonna give you like a big picture from high school to college. For me, my experience is seeking out help, mental health, a therapist. So high school overall, I felt like the structure, having family around me, having friends around me, I didn't really need any like I didn't need like any help externally. Maybe for guidance, I just all I needed was help with college. It wasn't like I needed help, but there were like circumstances where I was upset in high school. I know I didn't get into Rutgers University. That was a major disappointment for me in high school. I remember the feeling of being, wow, like I want to run maybe for Rutgers University, maybe walk on, or even like maybe like it's kind of disappointing when you don't get somewhere. I know college rejections are very tough on high schoolers. I went to Seton Hall, and my first major battle with like mental health and was kind of like my body image and like how I just, and also like my a want to get better. So towards my junior and senior year, I felt I kind of got into a rabbit hole of eating less and maybe I can get leaner, and if you seem like you guys are nodding your head, so it's pretty common amongst runners. So I ended up going to my academic advisor, asking him like, hey, like this is happening and all that, and just talking to him about how I was like cutting out a lot of food in my diet. And yeah, it ended up being a really bad move because I had like after that like kind of like gastrointestinal like inflammation, and like I wish I had seen my nutritionist, which was easily accessible to me. Like there was a lot of things accessible to me, but I never really saw like a therapist or anything like that in college. So that's something that I don't know. I just felt like the Hispanic culture, like my dad is like very strict, very like hard headed, and I just didn't. And I kind of like I think internalized that, and I didn't seek out help then. But then here in PT school now, like moving forward a couple of years, I I finally decided to take the step of seeking a counselor or like seeking a psychologist after an exam that I had, and it was the final exam for the summer for my first semester of PT school, and I remember just like getting the first like fail. It was like two parts. One was like a hands-on part, and then I took the written exam, and I remember flunking the hands-on part, and my mind was just spiraling like for the written part, and I didn't finish it, and I literally just had a breakdown, just saying like how like everything was. I just felt like crap, and then I saw a psychologist, and I scheduled that out with the help of the chair of my department. So yeah, there's different points there. You guys can ask me about it.
Question about that. So, as you said, I feel as though it's pretty common. People have the necessary resources and tools to seek help if they do actually need it, but some people don't necessarily. How do I say, they don't ask for help. They don't use their resources. What is the solution to that if you do have any? Question for the general.
One thing I have realized, right, is specifically just looking at us from our transition, is that we kind of weren't. It took a lot for us to become emotionally intelligent. Like we knew that we were feeling sad sometimes, and I know I'm speaking for both of y'all because I remember at times where I would just see you guys be sad, but none of y'all will admit that you're sad, and like it's okay. The thing is, we knew how we were feeling at that moment, and we knew if we needed help or not, but it was just a matter of trying to understand what to do, because when you're in that position, it's like you're just trapped, right? That's the best way I could put it. And the only way to do that, to get out of that, is by talking to someone. And most of us, we have working parents. Our siblings are like a little bit grown up or a little bit younger, so we don't really want to sit down and have conversations with them. So I guess it's just a matter of really understanding how you're feeling, right? And trying to really just do best for yourself in that situation to get out of it. So I would say talking is really good. I feel like we could have helped each other a lot more when we were in high school if we had just had those conversations. But then again, we're high school kids, like, so yeah.
For me, and I think that question that Austin asked, I think that I can understand that if you're ever going through something that you might want to talk to somebody about it, or sometimes you might not want to. I mean, I think that, like, the fact of the matter is, like, if you truly want to escape from that feeling, and get away from it and get past it, I think you have to talk about it. If you need help, right? If you feel some type of way, no one's really gonna know by yourself. So I know it's hard, I guess, obviously, to try to go and talk about it, but like, I think personally, the way I think about it is, if I seriously ever needed help, if I realized that I I really needed it, I'd go talk about it, because no one else knows how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? I know how I'm feeling, and I'm realizing that if it's serious, that I probably should get some help for it. And it doesn't have to be like a counselor; it could be a friend. You know what I mean? You saying those things will help you out in the long run. Is what I'm trying to say, basically.
Any of you guys have an example of something that like lingered on and you felt like it kept on going and before it got really worse?
Oh, I have one. I want to say the biggest thing with me was just meet a champs. I remember for 3 years straight, I flopped meet a champs, and it was kind of draining, because it was like we'd work all year, right? Get to the point where I do qualify, and then when I get there, it's like I don't know what happened, man, but it was very draining for me, like really emotionally draining, especially championship season, because I'd always just remember like, damn, am I gonna flop this year? Am I not? So that was really big, and I feel like if I had talked to people about it, it would have put me at ease way before, and I would have gone into that very like more confident that I got it, rather than just going in there and being like, damn, it's today another flop. So yeah, that was a really big thing. For 3 years it went on. Yeah.
I don't know how you felt about it, but I felt your indoor one was really good.
Oh yeah, the indoor. Oh yeah. The indoor one. No, I'm talking about like specifically cross. Cross PTSD to this day.
Okay.
That's the one when we took our shirts off and we had Bago. Oh man.
Good times.
Good times.
Actually, no, you guys. No. So you guys did that twice, where you guys took off your shirts and painted yourselves. So you guys did that in groups, where you guys were like Bago, Bago. Remember that video I took of you guys?
Did we?
It was just once. I remember being cold only once.
Now I'm gonna add the recording to this video, so it'll just play like in the middle of this. But I remember Benny, you actually had a great race that day. That's when you qualified for me to champions. That's what you think you had around like 16:23. But if anything, I mean, like, we don't have to relive all that. I just wanted to like kind of point that out. All right. Any other examples?
No examples, Check, you and your back.
Oh yeah, damn. Oh my god.
I feel attacked. Oh my god.
Oh shoot, I completely forgot. I mean, with that, there will be times for sure where I would feel something, you know what I mean? Like an injury, and I think it'd go away. I just leave it alone, go to practice. As times get on, and this happened multiple times, these little things got bigger, you know what I mean? And it kind of just ruined my season. Happened to me all years, actually, all 4 years. I knew it was serious. When we ran at Kearney, I was doing the 400 hurdles, and halfway through the race, I felt something. Like I felt like a really sharp pain instantly, just affect me. But I felt good. But the reason why I obviously didn't feel that at the time or any pain was because of the adrenaline was pumping. But after the race, sat down, I just couldn't get back up. Like I legitimately could not. It was like, I was like, whoa, it was just weird. I had to go to the emergency room that day at night because I couldn't sleep. I guess that's another example of just addressing the issue when it's small instead of waiting for it to get big. Because at that point, after that, it never really got better. You know what I mean? I finished my high school year with that and went to college. College, it affected me as well, and I had to take a break from running. I took a whole month off.
How did you during that month off, how did you feel? Injuries overall, like, I feel like they affect your psyche, how you feel, your emotions. I have personal experiences. I know you guys are a little bit younger, but you guys, I'm sure, have had plenty of injuries. How you feel physically affect how you affect psychologically, emotionally. So, like, how did you feel during that month?
It was terrible. Like I said, I've had my fair share of injuries, and they're not fun. You know what I mean? Other than just the pain that you're feeling from it, I think mentally as well, it definitely just brings down your demeanor and just worsens your mental health. Just because, like, at the time, I'm in a whole new environment. My freshman year, I don't know anybody, and what I mean, I'm expected to run. The coaches are aware of my situation. So at the time, like, I wasn't really talking to anybody, kind of like in Austin's case. I was just staying to myself. I was going to the gym regularly, just like lifting and just kind of just strengthening the parts out of my body that were a lot weaker, which caused the injury. But just that time period, it was just like I was by myself. I was secluded. I was like isolated, and it just wasn't a great feeling. You know what I mean? I see the rest of the kids out on the track, running, smiling, having fun, and in my head, I'm just by myself. But I pulled through, and everything I guess got better after that.
You guys have any other like similar?
Yeah, I definitely do. Well, my back problem started when I was, I'd say, sophomore year. I'd say I remember this day vividly. It was I think it was like maybe a week or two before Penn Relays, and I made it on a 4x4 team. So I don't know how, but I made it on the 4x4 team. We had a hard workout. I'd say Penn Relays, it starts on like a Thursday. So I'll say the Friday before we had a hard workout. I think it was 8 200s, and it was the first time I ran with a sprinter, Marcel, right? So this day, me and him are going at it. We're practicing. Right after the 8 200s, I believe, my back starts hurting. I'm like, okay, kind of hurt sometimes when you still it, then it keeps going. I'm like, okay, let me go down to the floor. So now people coming up to me, hey, you okay? I'm like, yeah, my back hurt. I'm like, all right, now it's time to get up, stretch, cool down. And I reach to go for the gate and my back doesn't go with me. I'm like, what's going on? So more of the story is it was like my back was, I'm not saying tight. I don't know what happened, but I could barely move, literally. And that was the day that I knew I had back problems. Day after, I went to the trainer and she told me that I had scoliosis. So getting to the college part, so she told me I had scoliosis, and junior year, senior year passed. I've dealt with the problem. It still kind of lingers. And I get to college and I go to my athletic trainer and I told him I have scoliosis. He goes, "Oh yeah, let me see your back." He sees my back. 5 minutes later, he says, "Yeah, you don't have scoliosis." And I'm like, well, "What are you talking about?" I had scoliosis for the past 3 years. He said, "No, you just have a weak back. You have weak knees, weak hips, weak ankles." And that just took me for a turn because for the past 3 years, I've been told I have scoliosis, and I've been telling people I have scoliosis. So now I'm like a fraud. I like a fraud for myself. Like, I'm just wondering, like, wow, now we have a different problem for me. So it took a mental turn on me, because if I would have known I would just had a weak back and weak knees and weak hips, and I'm not running the right way, that's something I could have been corrected, and my back problems would have ceased. But knowing that now, I can say that my back rarely hurts after finding out what the actual problem is. So that's a good thing, of course. But that was just like a mental turn. I'm glad that I didn't get all depressed about it and say, wow, past 4 years I've been running like shit, and it was for the wrong reason. So yeah, there's that.
Also, that made me. That literally is the reason why I think PT, why I chose PT, why I think PT is so helpful, and actually what I'm learning in class right now, how words impact you, and how beliefs impact you. So someone telling you that, it impacts how you perceive your pain, how you feel about your back. Someone tells you oh, your back is weak, or your back is it's something's wrong with it. You internalize that, and that's something I'm learning in PT school. Just this past couple of weeks, and it can be said for that. That's one example. Another example could be someone telling someone, "Oh, you're never going to run again after this ankle sprain," or something like that. No one ever told me that. But if a doctor told me you're never going to run again after my third ankle sprain, I probably could have internalized that very deeply, and maybe it would have impacted. There's no doubt it would have impacted my return to running and my outcome. So, and then Chad, going off of you, your injury, you're letting things linger is another reason why I chose to be a PT, because the thing is when you're injured, your first month, your first week of injury it's a very crucial time period for someone to talk to someone, or not just talk to someone, but seek out professional help. And that's something I just want to leave everyone with.
I have a question regarding it. Speaking of mine and Shaq's situation, it's kind of a question for you and me, since we've both gone through it. Actually, no, all of us really. What I've done is, since I've experienced what it's like to be a freshman in transition, I've always been more, not less supportive. I've been more supportive and more social towards all the freshmen, especially on my team. I know all the freshmen by name, their room numbers, and I'm always chilling with them because I know how it feels to be a freshman in the transition. And my question for you is, have you thought about doing anything like that, or are doing anything like that currently?
Are you talking about me?
Yes.
Oh, no, 100%. No, 1,000%. Yeah. Because I was just gonna say what you said as well. As an incoming freshman, it's hard. You know what I mean? You're holding, once again, whole new environment. You don't know anybody. So I definitely do that. That's why I whenever on my team as well. When I realized that we had some incoming freshmen coming in, I reach out to them, let them know who I am, introduce myself. I'm like, yo, hit me up. If you have any questions, anything like that. Just because, you know what I mean? It's hard with college. I feel like with college, it's just it's hard, I guess, to just try to make some friends. You know what I mean? Because everyone's just in that weird state. It's do I want to hang out with these guys? Are these guys my friends? You know what I mean? It's hard. For the most part, if you're on a sports team, you're going to be hanging out with the people on your team. You know what I mean? Those are your friends. you'll have friends outside of that. But for the most part, you're hanging out with people that are on your team, and those are like your best friends. Those are the guys you have, you create bonds with. So as an incoming freshman, I definitely when we have people coming in, like even for recruits as well, the coaches always just throw them to me, just because I just not socialize with them, and I just keep it real with them. You know what I mean? I let them know everything how it is. I wish someone would have done that for me personally, and not saying that no one did, but like I wish someone would like I guess kind of like went out of their way and like introduce themselves like immediately as I joined the team. You know what I mean? So that's how I think of it. Actually, that's not a good example because someone actually did, but you get the point. Chris actually did that, Brian. Chris actually reached out to me, so I guess I'm just kind of like continuing that tradition, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's we all know someone that is the rainbow in our friend group, or the person that is cheery, like someone you can rely on to talk to, or just like someone that is like maybe like I mean I don't know that many people that are like that, but it's nice to have someone like that that's happy and that can cheer you up, has good energy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next question. Is anyone else, before I go on to like my next question, anyone else have anything on that?
I feel like it's very important picking where you want to go to school and looking into the population around it, because
Demographics.
thank you, the demographics, because coming from New Jersey, going to UMass was a very big shock. You go in New Jersey, we have diverse, like we have people from all over the world, to going to UMass, and it was like 90 of us are from Massachusetts, and the rest of the 10% are like either international or, little places here and there in the United States. So it was kind of like a big shock also. Yeah. Dinner at 6, man. Some of my teammates used to go to dinner at 6. I can't do dinner at 6.
Yeah, like I'm still hungry. I'm hungry at 7 now. Like, what's going on?
That's what I'm saying. And also, like the food, it was just very different. I don't know if the HBCU like food is any different. Can you answer that?
It's kind of weird because like we have the hours of the cafeteria is like so I say breakfast is like from 7 to 10, and then first things first, I'm waking up at 10, so I missed breakfast already. Now lunch is from 11 to 2, and then dinner is from 4:30 to 8, and that itself is really not me at all. I'm used to waking up. I didn't eat breakfast in high school. Not really. I eat lunch, of course, and then dinner, lunch, and then I eat something right after school. Then dinner would be, I'd say, 9:30, 10. Now I'm forced to eat at 8, or I have to. I'm not necessarily forced. We do have some stuff that stays open, but it's only fast food stuff that stays open, like Kentucky Fried Chicken and BRB, which is it's like a burger place. So that was a shock to me. So I was forced to eat, like, I'd say, like when you go to the caf, you can go get something to eat, you can go back. So I ate twice for dinner and twice for lunch. So I kind of had to adjust, but that's the only difference really.
To fill up that space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so definitely look into where you want to go. Get the demographics. Get a community that you feel like you belong, and not necessarily have to be on imposter syndrome mode all the time. So yeah.
Something I want to add back to the question: has anyone ever turned to you about mental health guidance? No one has yet, but I'm expected to. I'm an RA for my hall. I'm a resident advisor, so for my RA training, they give us training on how to prepare for that, and if somebody does come to you about it. So no one has turned to me about it yet, but I'm not necessarily expecting, but I would be prepared if somebody does come to me about it. So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of want to pick. I want to going off of what you guys have talked about. I want to talk a little bit about alcohol as well when it comes to college, because we all like what is talking about college and being student athletes if there's no conversation about partying and alcohol consumption. There's no way we can miss that side of it.
I'll go first. Wait, but actually no. Like, what do you are you just talking about alcohol in general and just say whatever I have to say about it, or do you have like a specific question in mind?
I have no specific question. I yesterday I heard that Ronaldinho, the soccer player, famous soccer guy, like literally his career was cut short because he had an alcohol addiction. The guy was a party animal. So you can talk about how it impacts your mental health. We could I
Performance.
want to tie it to mental health. That's the only that for you to kind of go with.
Oh, actually, I have a great example. So one of my friends in college, I wouldn't say had a drinking problem, but he drank a lot, and like he would like at times he drank like before a meet. Like one time he drank like before like a cross country meet. He was a distance guy, and long story short, he ran like crap, and I'm just like I was like, I mean, well, obviously you were literally out partying and drinking the day before. Why are you doing that? It doesn't make sense to me. And I think in the end, he was just like drinking a lot at the end, and we just like we saw him, and it was like, bro, like what is wrong with you? Like, you know what I mean? And we know that it definitely affected him because of his highest amounts of alcohol consumption. He basically got kicked from the team, and that affected him mentally. You know what I mean? He wasn't himself. Me and my other friend, and we're just like, yo, like, what is up with you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta chill off on that. We had like we just had to sit down and talk to him about it because I guess the drinking kind of got worse, especially after he got kicked from the team because he was just like he felt like a disappointment. He couldn't tell his parents because you know what I mean. His parents didn't know about it. He kind of kept it on a down low because they would have killed him to find out about it. And I think that as an athlete, you know, I mean, obviously people, party all the time. As a college, I just in college in general, everyone's partying. But I think as an athlete, if you are like really serious about what you're doing, like personally with me, one time in season, it's go time. There's no partying, none of that.
Dry season.
I mean, yeah, of course, 100%. I'm doing what I gotta do because I'm trying to have goals I need to accomplish, and I can't have something like that affecting me. You know what I mean? But that's just me.
I want to say I know two people, and one person, really good runner, like a 4:10. I think it was freshman year or something, runner, and he was stuck in that for 3-4 years, just because he was turning up so much. Like he was stuck at this one place because he was drinking all the time. Like man would drink before the meet, and it was like he had so much potential basically. Because he ran 4:10 his freshman year, he could have been probably just a different breed by his senior year, but he was stuck at that one space just because alcohol was hindering his mind state. And another person, they dropped out the team just to go do drugs and marijuana. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah, they literally just gave up on a lifetime opportunity just to go smoke some weed behind an abandoned building. And personally, I feel like my parents did a good job by, allowing me to just drink at home in a safe space, because that, when I got out there in college, I wasn't like, so it wouldn't be my first time, and I wouldn't really be hyped to try something new because I've already tried it before and I know what it's like. So it was like, okay, like we're here, everyone's drinking and it's fine. But for other people, it was like their first time and they were just, wow, they were abusing it really bad.
Yeah.
So it's not very healthy, I would say. And of course, if you're abusing it, there's something that, is going to be like a repercussion for it. It's either you're going to go really deep into it and avoid school or give up on your social life, or even something worse, So yeah, it's all about a balance, I would say, and having a good mindset of what you want to do and just trying to avoid all the bad that come with it.
Number one, I think if alcohol is a drug, like there is nothing, like no one can argue that it's not a drug because it's a stimulant. People abuse of it. It can be addicting, especially in some people. I had a teammate that, remember, he admitted to the team he had six beers a day. It might have been more actually. It might have been like maybe 10. I think it might have been 10 actually. It was bad. Like we had to have an intervention with him. And I remember like I wasn't the point person on that, but he had some other teammates that were like more on him, like asking him daily, like how much did he have to drink, you know, asking him like just making sure that he's aware of that. As a team, that's not like it's not. We don't want him to feel like we're judging him for it, but we don't want him to be an alcoholic either. And also, I think Benny, you mentioned Mary J. and how I would argue that it's not worse than alcohol, but it's also something that people can overuse and depend on. And I think it's good for some people to take a drink every now and then and, you know, chill out, relax with friends, but not something that they go to day in, day out, because then it becomes a financial, something that weighs you down.
Yeah.
So yeah, like everything in moderation is my philosophy on things. If you have the self-control, and we've talked about emotional intelligence and being in control, that's the main piece of it. I don't think we need per se like these things to have a good time or enjoy or relax and chill out. Like the quiet room Austin mentioned, I think are good alternatives too. And like I think Benny, I remember taking you to a sauna and I telling you how that was like my
Sauna.
yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah, I took all of you guys, right?
Yeah. First time I think we went together, and the second time all of us went.
I think we might have gone once or twice, but that was my way of trying to teach you guys in high school that like there's ways to relax, and it could be a sauna, it could be a hot tub, it can be just, I didn't teach you guys meditating, but I love that Austin, you're doing that, you have that. And or taking naps, like relaxing naps like that. Like yeah. Let me do
Games help too. A lot of games.
I think gaming is pretty. I mean, gaming is again in moderation, but gaming is a great outlet. I love playing Smash with friends.
Okay. Brian, you be smashing your friends?
Well, I wanted to say that because
I was just about to say that.
It's so weird. I don't want to say that.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was actually gonna make a comment like it's not smashing. All right, so let me see if I had anything else to add. What do you guys think we missed? Oh, we didn't define mental health. After all this talk, like we haven't really defined it. So let's do that. And then, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do ABC. So let's do Austin.
Hey.
There we go.
I did not want to go first. All right, mental health. I define it as, I like how you said mental health and not a mental problem. So mental health is just your well-being, including everything that isn't physical, in my point of view. So obviously that means emotional. If you're a spiritual person, that can mean spiritual also. But mental health itself is just like the state of your mindset, whether it's good or bad at the moment, and how your day's going and your perspective of things. Like an example is like, that's kind of a bad example, but like how you see a cup, is it half full, half empty? You know, like most negative people might say the cup is half empty. Positive people would say it's half full. Someone like me will just say it's a damn cup of water, just drink shit. Well, there's that. So yeah, that's basically how I define mental health. Just your mental state of being, and yeah.
I can't really describe it more than Austin did. I feel like there's no other way to describe mental health by the way you did. So what else?
You can add one little thing to it.
Can I add? I want to talk on the bad. Yeah, sometimes, obviously, I feel like you're going to get to a time where you're going to have mental health. Bad. You're going to be in a bad mental state. And that's okay. That's also a definition of mental health. Again, you can't have everything good without the bad, right? So there needs to be a balance sometimes. Sometimes it's okay to have bad mental health. So yeah, just know that it's not always good. There's some bad to it sometimes. And it's okay because we learn from the bad.
Yeah, like Benny said, Austin really summed it up well. I'm gonna reiterate it a bit. I mean, mental health for the most part is just your well-being and being in a state of mind where you're healthy. You know, ideally, you want to have a healthy state of mind. This state where you're thinking logically, you're thinking like yourself, and you're not being affected by other things negatively, I guess, in a way. You know what I mean? So just being your true self and just being well. I guess that's how I could really just think
The
about
best
it.
version of yourself.
Yeah, just being yourself. I think that's how I really sum it up for me.
Yeah. I think each one of you guys hit a certain point. Just big picture wise, your overall health, within that, there's mental health, there's physical health. Like these are two different brackets that are going to impact your overall well-being. And there's also the environment. So environment could be food, could be how people around you and how you're treated. And then mental health, I feel like, is that internalizing the outside and how you think, how you feel about yourself, how you perceive yourself. I think there's a lot of things that you guys hit, and I think it's all very good. And the only thing I would add would be that it's a part of your holistic well-being. So if you want to be the best athlete, if you want to be the best person you can be, it's something that you need to be mindful of. It's not something you can ignore. And you will have down periods. You'll have periods when you feel bad, when you're injured, when you're sick, when people mistreat you. It's a spectrum, and I like that Benny said that it's pretty much you can be in the bad place, obviously not good, but you can get out of it. So yeah, all very good points there. All right, so I think that's it.
Thank you for watching on Disney
Is there
Channel.
anything, I really enjoyed the discussion overall. It was good, and I would love to have you guys again on the future. Let's see where the talk goes, and thanks again.
Chris,
No problem. World is here. Shout out to
Definitely.
Brian. Thank you for having us. It's been great. Good talk.
great talk.
Subscribe to BC Talk. Every week. Subscribe, like, comment, share.
Push
Yeah.
that notification bell when he uploads a video.
All right, guys, thanks for joining. I appreciate the love, and definitely subscribe, everyone, please. I'll see you guys next time. I look forward to watching you grow your careers. I'll always be here for anything that you guys need as a resource. I know I'm going to be a future PT, and when I'm in a good place in my career, I welcome you guys to always reach out to me if you guys need help. If you have an issue of any kind, you can call me, walk in. I'll let you know where I am. I just want you guys to feel open and to have me as a resource. And I appreciate the love that you guys showed me here. And maybe I'll see you next time for a future video. So thanks.
No problem.
First,
Have a good one.
All right. Peace out, guys.